I'm Simply, that's Sutton, and this is the Purple Rain Podcast. Thank you for coming through episode 182 of the Purple Rain Podcast, the Derek Alexander episode, the Shannon Sharp, the Torrey Smith, and most recently, the Sammy Watkins kind of episode of the Purple Rain Podcast. He wore 82 last year. Yeah,
sure.
Why not? But thank you all for coming through this Monday episode of Purple Rain Podcast. I actually have news to talk about, which is pretty cool. But as you are shouting out everybody in the live chat, see J Prime, JD Killswitch, Rico, Merrick, and Quoni, thank you all for coming through. I'm going to try to get right into today's topics. But first and foremost, you can follow us on Instagram at the Purple Rain Podcast. Right down there. Yeah. You can follow this guy on Instagram, on Twitter, at Sutton Def. Follow me on Instagram at simplyas10.prod and on Twitter at simplyas10. And most importantly, our sponsor, Manscaped. If you go in there, get something nice for you or somebody you know, go and get that cart full. And then at the end, you're showing it off. I see it. Showing off the beard right now. Go in the cart, put the code PRP, get 20% off and free shipping. It's our gift to you. So thank you.
Yeah. Thank you guys so much for tuning in to this episode. And like our guy, Simply AS10 said, go on manscaped.com, get yourself something, get a loved one something, and use that fabulous code PRP to save 20% off plus free international shipping. Okay, we're going to go ahead and hop right into what we came here to talk about because we are on some borrowed time right now. But listen, we got some things to talk about. We got some things to cover. Training camp is right around the corner. It starts on Wednesday, I believe, per Jeff Zarebek's Twitter. Yeah. So I'm excited for that. But a couple things to get into since the last time we talked to you guys. The Ravens signed Melvin Gordon. Kind of just, to me, was out of the blue. I wasn't really expecting that. That wasn't like on my bingo card for the rest of the offseason for the Ravens to pick up another running back, especially, considering all the running backs we have. And we just got it. Keaton Mitchell. Yes. Keaton Mitchell. Is he I have a question for you about Keaton Mitchell. Now that we've gotten Melvin Gordon, where does that put Keaton Mitchell on the totem pole of running backs? Like, does he get signed? Like, does he play?
Like, it's preseason, he has to ball out. And I think we should do the like it, love it, hate it for this Melvin Gordon signing because I think it'd be the perfect way to kind of, see how we're feeling. I know that he visited us last year when he got cut by the Broncos, or we had interest in him.
Yeah.
Nothing came from that. He got picked up by the Chiefs on their practice squad, didn't play a single snap, got a ring. I'm not going to knock the hustle, but like it, love it, hate it, the Melvin Gordon to Baltimore signing.
For me, I'm gonna say hate it, and the only reason I say hate it is because there's a couple reasons actually, right? But the main reason is because it kind of alludes to the fact that JK Dobbins will continue to hold in, and kind of and we know where he stands right now with the whole like running backs. They're revolutionizing things right now. They're having Zoom meetings with, all the best backs in the league. And J.K. Dobbins is definitely a part of that. And it is unfortunate, but I think it's fair that J.K. Dobbins has the kind of disposition that he has at this point because of how things have kind of transpired throughout his career thus far. But getting back to Melvin Gordon, I hate it also for the reason that, last year, didn't necessarily see too much good things from Melvin Gordon. He had like 5 fumbles. He was a fumbling machine. That is definitely something to put a stamp on and be a little bit worried about. Now, the one silver lining I could say is what if Melvin Gordon is our next Mark Ingram, and we just get one good year out of the guy. That's kind of like the silver lining for me. But in the grand scheme of things, I do kind of hate this move. Honestly, what about you?
Yeah, I'm right there behind you. I hated it as well. He had 5 fumbles, I believe, on 96 carries. You can do the math. That's not good.
Yeah.
And just, I think in the year before he was second in the league in fumbles and he only played in like 12 games. A year before that, I know he was in the top maybe 2 or 3, may have been the first. It hasn't been the same since the Chargers days. And honestly, you're better than me for thinking he'll do the Mark Ingram thing, because at least when Mark Ingram was coming off of New Orleans, he at least was producing. I have not seen it from Melvin Gordon at all. Ingram didn't have the fumbling issues like Melvin Gordon. Me personally, if you wanted to sign a vet running back, just re-sign Kenyon Drake. I think he showed us enough last year to warrant on maybe another 1-year deal. Thought he looked good in the offense, but obviously not. So yeah, we're gonna rock with Melvin Gordon, but it does leave Keaton Mitchell behind the 8 ball because he's now running back 5 on this depth chart.
Yeah.
4, depending how you feel with JK Dobbins, but we know he's gonna play and he'll be above him. So he needs to ball out preseason and in special teams, because we already saw Tyson Williams get the doghouse. Nate McCrary didn't do anything, and those guys look pretty promising in the preseason. So even if Keaton Mitchell has a good preseason, it's not guaranteed he'll get time, unfortunately. No matter how good we think he is or how final call goes to the coaches, unfortunately. Well, fortunately, but at the same time, we kind of know how Harbaugh is. Yeah, we'll talk more about that.
Yeah. Lisa says, hey, guys, I'm not sure about Melvin Gordon. Please convince me. Yeah, you're not going to get any convincing out of us. Sorry, Lisa. We're not really big fans of this move. It's not even like we needed the extra depth, at the position. It's just more so kind of like insurance, just in case I think JK Dobbins does plan on kind of holding in or holding out, whatever you want to call it,
Yeah.
So definitely hate it for that reason, for sure. Okay, let's see what else you guys are saying about Melvin Gordon. Oscar's in the house. Says, what's up, y'all? Happy to make it tonight. What's going on, Oscar? Appreciate you for coming through. Listen, if you guys are watching this live, thank you so much. If you're not watching live, you're part of the hashtag Replay Gang. Thank you so much for coming through to this episode 182 of the Purple Rain Podcast. Make sure you follow us on Instagram at the Purple Rain Podcast, as you guys know, and also like this video. Like the video. Come on, guys, like the video. I mean, season's right around the corner. We're about to be pumping out a whole lot more content, man. The off season has kind of flown by, has it not, Alex?
It has, and it ends basically, as I'd say, on Wednesday. When training camp starts, to me, off season ends, because now it's content every day. You can hear news every day. So no more of the dog days of the off season.
Right. JD Killswitch here says Harbaugh hates guys that fumble. He's going to be on his head during practice. I can see that for sure. And now listen, there's still, like what we've been saying this whole entire offseason, or I'd say like post Lamar signing. There's a lot of mouths to feed on this offense, and Melvin Gordon is yet another. Now, do I think he steals a lot of snaps from guys like Gus Edwards? Probably not. Probably not. I think that Melvin Gordon would really have to he would have to make the absolute most out of every single opportunity that he gets, because like I said, Harbaugh is not – I think Harbaugh would have kind of like a short leash on him, like one fumble and, benched. Okay,
Yeah.
like we'll throw Justice Hill in there. He had a couple of big plays last season. You know what I mean? Things like that. So we'll monitor that situation throughout the season, see how the running back room kind of shapes up, especially considering we don't really know what kind of is going to happen with JK Dobbins, So
yeah, the only positive I can get from Melvin Gordon signing is he's good in pass protection, and he is a solid option at the backfield catching. There's your positivity from me. I can give you. Outside of that,
how much did we sign him for? $3 million.
1 year up to $3.1 million. So probably incentivized, obviously.
Yeah. All right. Let's go ahead. If you guys have any other comments, questions, concerns about what we were just talking about, make sure you leave your comments down below in the comment section, because we do get to those as well. Now, listen, there was an interview earlier today that came out. Odell Beckham Jr., right? Odell was basically saying that, he was kind of hesitant to join the Ravens. There were other suitors for him. And, I think ultimately the Ravens kind of, beat out everybody when it came to negotiating, the money, right? So first of all, what's your reaction to Odell kind of being hesitant to coming and playing with the Ravens? Does that make you feel a little bit of, queasy inside at all, or what?
So I read the article, and one of the reasons he said was because the Ravens whipped his ass every time they played him, which with the Browns, outside of one game, we did. You torched us with the Giants.
I would say
in 16.
I remember getting torched by Odell. Yeah.
yeah, when Jimmy Smith went out, you put up 200 yards on us. But with the Browns, he was talking about, no, because at that time he didn't know who our quarterback was. I mean, maybe in years prior, Greg Roman was the offensive coordinator. I can give him that. I know we were talking to him last year, so that could have been a reason, but not really. I think everything we've heard from him, and I think his actions have spoke louder than his words. He's been here, he's been out in the community, he's been doing great things like that. He's all on board, and hearing him talk, he's definitely ready to ball out. And now we talk about this being his final year. That didn't surprise me. Kind of hearing the struggle he went through with his knee, and reading the article on how there would be days he just wouldn't get out of bed, and how his mom would have to open the blinds just for light to get in the room. I couldn't imagine that type of depression. Honestly, not being able to live your life. But hopefully he gets a ring this year and gets a ride out in the sunset. That's the ending I hope for his career. Get another ring. You're muted.
Mike's muted. Listen, here's my thing. If he wins a ring with the Ravens, I think we have to seriously consider him for Hall of Fame. We're not already considering Odell for Hall of Fame right now, as of right now, right?
I don't think no.
Not yet, no. Right? So yeah, if he wins a ring with the Ravens, that would definitely be Hall of Fame worthy. At least
and a solid prediction here. Oh, it's hard. It's really hard because he was on that path, and then just kind of years with the Browns really hindered him. In hindsight, he was solid with them, but just kind of the dysfunctional Browns, of course.
Right.
And then I think if he stays healthy during the Super Bowl and wins MVP, there's a very strong case.
Yeah.
But it's hard. This year, if you put up maybe 1,200 yards in the Super Bowl, then the case is being made. But there's receivers out there. Torrey Holt isn't even in the Hall of Fame yet, which I don't understand.
Yeah.
There's Steve Smith hasn't been. Anquan Bolden, what's going on here? Hall of Fame. I need to know.
We got our guy Rush in the building. What's going on, Rush? Appreciate you for coming through. Sports Gaming YouTube says, yo, what's up, Purple Rain Gang? What's going on, brother? Appreciate you. Rush says, like the vid, man. Like the vid. Listen to Rush. Rush for Prez.
Yes.
Like the video. Like the video, guys.
Yeah.
All right. So the other part of the Odell Beckham interview was where he was kind of alluding to the point that maybe this might be his last season, or more specifically, what he was saying is that he views this season as his last season. He's looking at it that way, So kind of easy to take what he said there out of context, but for what it's worth, I think it does mean something. Like you said, if he were to go out and win a ring this year and kind of ride off into the sunset, I would understand totally. But as a Ravens fan, Alex, and I want everybody else to answer this as well, does that make you feel any type of way inside that Odell is kind of looking at this as his last season, not really looking towards a future with the Baltimore Ravens? Or are we already looking at it like he's a rental anyway?
Yeah, I think when we first signed him, we kind of accepted it. We knew it was a 1-year deal, 17 mil, void years, and then drafting Zay Flowers. We're not going to be able to pay all these guys.
No.
So if they really think Bateman is the guy, we'll get into that. Or if Zay is, you can't pay all these guys. So who knows? Who knows if we trade for some? Who knows what disgruntled receiver is going to win out next year in the offseason? We go and get him. Who knows? But I was going into this as it's going to be a 1-year thing, and if it goes well, maybe he signs on. But I think it just depends his health. The good news is he is playing on grass at M&T Bank. I know we have a couple of turf fields I go to, but yeah, I'm not too worried about it. What about you?
Yeah, I'm not too worried about it either, but I will admit that it did make me feel something, because it's just I don't know. When a guy talks like that, it kind of sounds like, you've got 1 foot in, 1 foot out, and him saying that it was a struggle to kind of really come back to football after that ACL tear. He also won himself a ring, so it's the incentive to keep coming back and keep putting your body through that same sort of hell year in and year out, especially when you keep getting hurt. Yeah, that's got to be tough, So I understand where he's coming from when he says, he views this season as his last, but as a Ravens fan, it definitely does concern me just a little bit because, let's just say Odell turns out to be our best receiver. I don't personally think that that's what's going to, transpire this season. I don't think he's going to be our wide receiver one. I think it's going to be either Bateman or Zay when it's all said and done. But let's just say he decides to have a really productive season, and that just happens, and we want to get another year out of him. Maybe he has an Anquan Bolden type season. Who knows? I don't know. We'll see what happens.
Yeah, I mean, Steve Smith was supposed to retire after 2015. He, went down the season ender, and he came back another year. So, I mean, winning can fix a lot of things. So let's say, we fall very close to that goal. He could come back, I definitely say. And then, with his health is the biggest factor, though. But,
yeah,
like I said, hopefully we just win the whole thing, and he rides off in the sunset.
Yeah. Let me see. Dre in the house says, "What's up, Purple Rain gang?
Yo.
What's going on, Dre? Appreciate you for coming through." Yeah. So let's also talk about Rashod Bateman, right? Rashod Bateman, it's kind of been a roller coaster back and forth on, is he activated? Is he not activated? So as of yesterday, news came out that he was reinstated and that, he was back on the activated list, whatever. So we were expecting to see him on Wednesday, as early as Wednesday at training camp, right alongside Zay Flowers, Odell Beckham Jr., Lamar Jackson, and the like. But as of maybe like an hour ago, they came out saying that, he's going to start, I guess, the league year or whatever on the PUP list, on the physically unable to perform list. Some people were freaking out. The pundits, right? So the beat writers and everybody, they were kind of saying like, hey, this isn't a big deal. Like, they're just trying to be cautious. He's coming back from a Liz Frank. What was your reaction to this, Alex?
So reactionary. Like, is there a fan? Well, actually, no, there is. But, like, I've seen so many people turn on players this past week or so. Like, it's July 24th, all right? We have a whole month and a half for our first regular season game. Like, let's just sit there and just calm down. You know what I mean? Like, Bateman is going through what Hollywood went through. I think the Ravens know how to deal with this injury, pretty well. So they're just doing their due diligence. They're playing it safe, and I don't hate them for that.
Yeah, no, I agree. Max Offit in the house. What's going on, Max? Says, I'm more worried about Dobbins than Bateman. Ravens are just being cautious. Yeah,
we have
Agreed
news
there.
here, actually.
Agreed.
Former Steelers
Do we?
cornerback Arthur Mallette is nearing an agreement to sign with the Baltimore Ravens. So DB help is on the way.
Corner help. Okay. Some more corner help. I mean, I don't hate that. I mean, we can alive, like it, love it, hate it. I mean, I don't really know too much about what this guy's done in the past, right? But
he's 30 years old. Looks like he can play safety or corner. I'm about to pull his stats up right now. Former Jet, Saints, Steeler, Colt. Last year, played in every single game. I had a pick, 3 passes deflected, and 1 forced fumble, and 2 sacks. So obviously not going to start, but it's help, and I don't hate it. So I like it for that reason.
Yeah. No, I mean, I definitely agree. Like, depth at that position is going to be critical, especially as the year goes on. And we see it every single season. Like, it's nothing new. We need help at that position. I mean, we do have a couple solid pieces, but beyond that, the bench ain't all that deep, So, but let's see here what you guys are saying. Yeah, I'm gonna take running back. Don C says running back mutiny. Alex, before we wrap up, I do want to ask you your take on the running back situation in the league right now.
Okay.
And I know we kind of touched on it last week, but I want to kind of repick your brain. What is your stance on it? Do you think that running backs are being treated unfairly, or do you think that it just is what it is?
So my biggest problem with the whole Zoom call is that Joe Mixon was in there. And Joe Mixon should be the guy that should be kicked out of that meeting because he took a pay cut of like no other. Like he diminishes pay a lot to stay with the Bengals, And that right there to me is like, well, bro, you don't even, know your own worth if you're going to take that big of a pay cut to win. I get that. But I definitely am on the side of the running backs, though. They deserve to get paid. So, I mean, some of them, you can't be asking unrealistic figures, but they do deserve to get paid. And it's a league-wide problem the way they are treated because they are so easily replaceable. And my biggest worry now is in the future, like, if you're a kid growing up, you even want to play running back because you'll get paid your rookie contract, and that's it.
Yeah, you'll get paid your rookie contract. They'll franchise tag you a few times, and then you're kind of just left out to dry after that. They'll just repeat the process over again. But for me, I'm thinking that originally I was on the side of the running backs, right? But as I've been thinking about like really what this means, like I'm kind of more so saying it is what it is, and that's where we're going as a league, like we say it, like the writing's been on the wall, guys. We've been saying this for years. Like, what is it? A passing league. This is a passing league, right? And as unfortunate as it is, I do think that the game of football is a running game, but the NFL is a passing league, because offense and ultimately passing the football puts butts in seats. People show up to games to watch Patrick Mahomes take a 10-step drop and then bomb the football down the field and Tyreek Hill go get it, or back when they were playing together, things like that. The deep ball itself is one of the most entertaining plays in all of sports. I think it's more entertaining. Me personally, I think it's more entertaining than a 3-point shot. I think it's more entertaining than a home run, so on and so forth. The deep ball for like a touchdown, I think, is one of the most entertaining plays in sports. And for that reason, offense is what it is. Offense brings in the ticket sales, so I just think that, with the way that the league is going, like since it is becoming more of like a passing league, then you're seeing running backs get devalued for that very reason. No?
Yeah, that's a good point. Especially with the deep ball. I mean, it's kind of like the feeling in your stomach when you see it get launched, and if you're on the defense, like if your team's on defense, you're hoping that somebody's there to intercept it or break it up. For the offense, you're hoping it's just like Tyreek Hill breakaway, 5 yards of separation, pitch and catch touchdown. But yeah, I see. I understand why, because you're gonna think about all the running back contracts that just haven't worked out. And Zeke's the biggest one. He got paid all that money, and after a year or so, his cuts aren't even the same in his workout videos, and it's happened a lot. And you have running backs like a Kenyon Drake who came in for I want to say a vet minimum last year, and to me, like I said, produced very well. I thought he outplayed his contract. I don't know how he's not picked up yet, and yeah, so. I mean, Gus Edwards got a second contract, and he's undrafted. So that's kind of proven that, there's a lot of undrafted guys out there.
The Ravens, you know how much they value running backs. I think that the Ravens are one of the few teams in the league that are kind of going to stick to their guns and actually, do at least somewhat right by their running backs. Now, when you have a JK Dobbins, he's like a premier guy. Like, he wants to be like the franchise running back. Went to Ohio State, was a star there, comes here, actually has some success with the Ravens in the games that he's played so far. He's produced really well. So he's kind of like, he's trying to break through, in his career. And he's like right there. But since he hasn't made it there yet, the Ravens are kind of looking at it like, hey, man, we're not going to pony up a whole bunch of cash for you. So don't be expecting that, Unfortunate situation, but hey, man, it is what it is. And we'll see what they do because they're having Zoom calls. Who knows if they're just going to sit out and not collect a paycheck, but we'll see. We'll see.
Ask Le'Veon Bell how that went. That's all I got.
Yeah, definitely don't want to be the next Le'Veon Bell, for sure. But we're going to go ahead and leave it there. Like I said, we are doing a short episode today, but we will be back on Thursday. If you have any questions, leave them down in the comment section below, and we will get to those. We will be sure of it. Again, thank you guys so much for coming out to this episode of the Purple Rain Podcast. Again, I know it's a short one, but yes, we will be back on Thursday. The season is back here again, and we'll be able to talk training camp, which is dope. We'll have videos and all sorts of footage that we can have. So,
finally.
Yeah. Again, thank you guys for coming through. Listen, you can go on manscaped.com and use our code PRP to save yourself 20% off plus free international shipping. You can go on Instagram and follow us on Instagram at the Purple Rain Podcast. You can follow me on Twitter or Instagram at Sutton Def. And this guy over here, you can follow him on Twitter at SimplyAs10, Instagram at SimplyAs10.prod, and on TikTok at SimplyAs10. Yeah, I always got to shout out the TikTok, man. I love the TikTok. But okay, with that being said, I'm going to let my guy Alex take us out.
Thank you for coming through episode 182 of the Purple Rain Podcast. And as always, stay positive, test negative.
And never, ever, ever forget, even on the rainiest of days, to call God. It's been episode 182. We're going to catch you guys in the next one.